If you're clicking on this video, you probably already heard that Daigo Saito and his team at Fat 5 Racing have already completed the first 2JZ GTE swapped A90 Supra. Now, when the first few images and videos of this car came out, there weren't very many details on the actual build itself, but since then, Monster Energy and SpeedHunters.com have came out with some more information regarding this build. So in this video, I want to go over what we now know Daigo and his team used for the engine, turbo, and drivetrain setup used in their epic 2JZ swapped A90 Supra. This is the world we live in 2019, 2JZ swapping Supras. What's going on? Mike here with Tuner Test Drive, and today I want to go over some of the details we now know on Daigo Saito's 2JZ swapped A90 Supra. But before we do that, as a reference point, let's take a look at my personal Supra. Now, I'd consider my build pretty standard, maybe even cookie cutter in the Supra world. Stock bottom end, 3-liter 2JZ, running a moderately sized 67mm turbo, upgraded fuel, twin disc clutch, with the OEM B160 6-speed. All that combined to push out around 750 wheel horsepower. Daigo's build, on the other hand, is anything but standard. The biggest question when this car was first announced was, what did Daigo have access to in order to build this car? Did he start with a rolling shell or a full production car? Well, now we know he was provided with one of those pre-production Supras that Toyota was promoting and testing all around the world. You know the ones, the cars that had all that swirly camo all over them that were seen everywhere. This is what Daigo started with. So of course, once he got his hands on the car, him and his team ripped out the BMW B58, gutted the car to have a clean base to build his 2JZ powered drift missile. Utilizing his partnership, the car is sporting many HKS parts. Daigo chose to swap out the stock bottom end for a more responsive higher displacement stroker kit from HKS. Now, this stroker kit increases the stock 2JZ from 3 liters to 3.4 liters. This kit consists of nickel-plated pistons, H-beam connecting rods, and a full billet counterweighted crankshaft. The increase in displacement is achieved by increasing the cylinder bore by 1mm, from 86mm to 87, while also increasing the piston stroke from 86mm to 94mm. This additional displacement will provide low-end torque and increased turbo spool. An HKS GT3 4R provides the forced induction for this build. This turbo is the successor to the very popular and now discontinued T04Z turbo, similar in size to a 67mm trim turbo. The GT3 4R uses the highly reliable MHI High Performance CHRA, utilizing a durable forged aluminum impeller. All that compressed air is passed through a huge ass front mount intercooler before funneling the air into the intake manifold. Boost for the turbo is regulated by twin HKS GT2 external wastegates routed straight up through the hood. A few other HKS parts can be seen as well, like the lightweight exhaust cam pulley and racing suction intake filter. Like other drift cars, the cooling system was also relocated to the rear of the car for better cooling. A dry sump oil system was installed to keep the engine from starving for oil during extended drift sessions. Feeding the compressed air to the engine is a billet and carbon Kevlar intake manifold from Custom Carbon Creations, utilizing a 90mm throttle body. There are no real details on the fuel setup used for this car, but judging by the color of the injectors, it doesn't look like they are HKS provided, but maybe from Injector Dynamics, either the 1300 or 2000cc. The power for this engine is transferred through a 6-speed Samsonite sequential transmission, then out to a Winters quick change rear end to drive their rear wheels. Overall, this build from Daigo Saito and his team at Fat 5 Racing is very cool, but also very expensive. I don't see this being a viable option for anybody unless you have very deep pockets. So hopefully this video gave you some more information on the epic 2JZ swapped A90 Supra Daigo and his team at Fat 5 Racing have built, and I would love to hear what you think about it in the comments below.